All right, folks, welcome to Blue Collar Hockey Talk. It has been a little while. Sorry that we've been away, but holy smokes, we're going to Game 7. I don't even know. We've got a lot going on. We're going to talk a lot Leafs. We usually spin around the league, but hell, this is nuts. This is Leafland, and we're going to go over it all. I'm not even going to tell you, like, you know what's going on, and we're going to go into it all. I don't know if you guys have any traditions that you talk about. I don't know. We'll talk about some of the other series. Wes, what the hell is happening with you?
I'm fine, man. What are you wearing? Do you have a towel on your shoulders? Like, it's a white towel with your wood background. It looks like you're in a sauna.
Come on. I got a sweater on. I'm sorry. I guess it
Jesus,
doesn't
man.
look that great here. I'm
I'm so,
sorry. I'll give you a better. I'm sorry. One sec. One
that
sec.
that that's not better either, right there.
Jeez.
I
That's not a
don't
good
need that
shot.
either.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Welcome to Blue Collar Hockey Talk. Let's go.
Yeah, man. You know what? That's good to have a little bit of levity because there are some dark times going on in Toronto. If we did this recording like 4 days ago when the Leafs were up 3-1, it would have been all good. Like, stamp their pass to the second round. The sun was shining, water tasted better, beer was colder, everyone was better looking. Like, it just was such a better place to be.
It's so true. I was looking forward to hanging out with you, and I'm just like, oh my God, can you imagine if we were sitting in the same room in these last two games? You know,
Oh,
like, dude, I don't know. Like when we were up 3 games to 1, Leaf Nation, like when teams go into things, like Vegas had a Game 7 against the Wild.
mhm.
I don't know about you, but if I had $10 to bet on a team, I'm betting it on Vegas every
Oh,
single time. And I can't say the same thing about the Leafs. And it's not because I don't believe in them. It's because they haven't won a playoff round in 17 years.
mhm.
In the last since 2013, they're 0-7 in game clinching games. We've got a lot of boxes that we've ticked off. We've blown third period leads. We've not beaten Columbus. We've ticked a lot of boxes off, and I didn't want to tick off blowing a 3-1 series lead, and I don't want to. We have the pieces to win this. Why aren't we winning it?
Yeah, and you know what, man? Like, I was listening to another show, and the host brought up a really good point of, with this team, what would you really change? Like, are we missing offensive players? No. Are we missing a strong defense? No. Are we missing a goaltender? No. Like, Jack Campbell has been fantastic this series. He's actually had a better save percentage than Carey Price, I think, for this series, which is unbelievable after 6 games that we would think Jack Campbell has a better save percentage. Like, there's maybe one thing I'm thinking of with this team, but man, like, I don't know. There's not much else.
And I mean, this isn't even the time to really do it. Um, with me, how about this? Let's not so much go with what pieces are missing, because I'll tell you what pieces are missing that are on the team right now. Marner hasn't put a puck in the net. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know where the hell he's been. Matthews, great. You want a Rocket Richard trophy. I've said it time and time again. I don't give a damn about those things if you can't do anything through the first
Yeah.
round of the playoffs. None of those things matter. So pieces, what are we missing? $22 million worth of absolute no-show through 6 games, and they have to show up.
Yeah.
They have it. They know how to play hockey. They are dynamite hockey players. Guys, it's Game 7. This is the chance to either have it where over the summer you have to pay twice the price for every meal, or maybe even don't go out,
Yeah.
or free on the house all summer. Toronto takes care of you. But my God, you have to get through this Game 7. But the momentum's not on our side, man.
You know what though? Momentum, I don't believe goes game to game, man. Each game kind of takes on a life of its own. Like last night's game, no way would I have thought we would go through 2 periods plus an hour, like 5 minutes into the third with no goals, and then 4 goals in the third period between the two teams. That is not what I saw coming at all. I thought the Leafs were going to come out hard and fast, and Montreal got a jolt from that crowd. I thought the guy who was counting the shots on net though was getting a little bit trigger happy, but man, Montreal definitely came out flying last night.
It was exciting to see a crowd in the stands.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, Bell Center or no Bell Center. I don't really like that they got that they got the sixth player in Game 6 of a series. To me, all 7 games. They've got to be on the same rules, but I get it. You need some money. You haven't made any players, and fans want to go. I'm not trying to
Yep.
deprive anyone, but get to round 2 and say, starting in round 2, we're going to allow this. That's me. I don't know. That's a debate that doesn't even matter right now because it
No.
happened and it doesn't matter.
No. Yeah, you know what? And the thing is too, if the Leafs lose tomorrow, you can already see the excuses coming, right? Like Tavares got hurt 10 minutes into the first game. Muzzin's out for game 7 probably, right? Foligno has missed 3 games of the series. Like they're just there, and it doesn't matter to me. And if they lose, it's so disappointing, man. Like that's the bottom line. It's just disappointing.
And I want to address something here because I've seen a lot of posts of people saying if they lose game 7, who gets fired? Does Dubas get fired? Does Shanahan get fired? What about Keefe? I don't know about you, bud, but it's not any of those guys that are going to get fired.
No.
It's somebody out of our main core. So when I was talking to my oldest girl, Taryn, she was saying, how did this happen? I thought we were supposed to win. I thought we were going to win these games, And she's like, what happens if we lose game 7? I said, Taryn, your favorite player is Mitch Marner. Yeah. Like, you have to actually be worried about having him as a Leaf. Like, That's the kind of stuff that will happen. And I don't mean blow the team up. I mean, you can't keep trying the same thing over and over again. I mean, we added character. We added all that stuff. And I think, holy smokes, you want to talk character? Jason Spezza has been a machine. I don't even understand how he's been playing. Unbelievable. Yeah. Every single shift, that boy is going out there and playing hard. And when that puck comes off his stick, it's on fire.
I really wanted him to get the OT winner last night just to be like, he is dragging them into the second round. You know what I mean? I wanted him or Simmons or Thornton, like one of the older guys, just to be like, we're doing this, guys. I don't care if it's on me or whatever. Like, one of the old guys is going to just, like, get on my back. We're going, right? And it just sucked, man. And I think, like, game 5, game 6, the way they ended, and in game 5, like we talked about this, so many of the Montreal goals you can trace back to, like, one mistake. And I hate that for the player because then that guy gets railroaded. Meanwhile, he had an amazing game, right? Like, Galchenyuk was on fire in game 4. He was the reason why they won. It was amazing to watch. A guy that's a former Hab, got kicked, like, he was kicked out of town, man. They slammed that door in his face so hard, and then all we think of in game 5 is it's his fault they lost. I'm like, no, it's not his fault they lost. They didn't score enough. That's why they lost.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I hope that people maybe lay off Freddie Anderson a little bit too, because this isn't the only time we've had a power outage in the playoffs. And Freddie has won hockey games that we've needed to win to keep going. He's brought us to game 6s and 7s where we had no business getting there. Yeah, he lets in a soft goal. I get it. Backbreaking, not good. But I don't think that those playoff rounds have to all be put on him. This is a really deep thing in this group. And game 7's on the horizon. They've got to look for themselves in the mirror. They've got themselves together as a group and have grown together since their rookie year. Do they want to keep going? Because this is the train. The train's on the tracks right now. And unfortunately, if it hits a stop at round 1, somebody's got to get off the train.
Yeah. I can't agree with you more, man. There's going to be some kind of change because they just can't keep going back to the well with the same group of guys. And, someone was asking me, they're like, oh, but these guys are pretty young guys. I'm like, okay, yes, they are pretty young. But they lost against Washington. And that year when they played against Washington, that was money. That was found money. We didn't expect them to make the playoffs. They took it to 6 games against Ovechkin and his Capitals. That was great. And I miss that feeling of it being fun. We're watching our team play, and it is just joyous to watch. Then the next year against Boston, I think it was their best year as a franchise. Like, they had 100+ points or something like that. They took them to Game 7. They lost in Game 7. Everyone thought, like, hey, you know what? Boston's a team with a lot of veterans and leadership, and they were able to do it. But, man, like, they lost again against Boston the next year.
You know what? I know.
Jesus, man. And then to lose against Columbus, and if they lose this year too, good God, like, something needs to change, right? Because these guys all got their money, and I'm not saying they're not deserving of their money, but they didn't do anything. Like, the playoffs is where you make your name, right?
You know what? When you look at the team and you say, who are your top 5 players? I want to say it's Matthews, Marner. I want to say that Foligno, but right now I have to say no, no, and no. Like it's Kerfoot. It's William Nylander.
Yep.
Boy, you want to see a guy that can play hard every shift? I didn't know he had it.
Yeah.
But you want to know what? This is when you need it. Claude Lemieux was nothing throughout the year, man. But guess what? Come playoff time, the boy won Conn Smythe trophies.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like if you can be a money player, that is huge. But the Leafs have been so mired in just trying to get through the first round. We haven't really gotten to realize that maybe we don't have money players, and I hope that we do. But we have
Yeah.
game 7 now, man. You've got to win it, because then round 2, show us your money players.
Oh man.
Show us, because Willie Styles, you're lighting on fire. Keep it up.
Yeah. I think this game is so important, man, and it is so important for these guys to realize like this city will turn on you hard. And like think of the players that we've run out of town because they haven't lived up to their contracts or lived up to expectations. Like these kids all came in here, the young guns, like they're gonna be on God, what's that bench called? Legends Row one day and all this stuff. Like we have all these positive things to look forward to. Like the Blackhawks went to their cup runs, like Pittsburgh, all this stuff, and like none of it has happened. So it's just mind-boggling how important this game is, and I feel bad for them in a human way because like this is a lot of pressure to put on people, right?
Oh, it's absolutely insane. There's people that are legal drinking age right now that literally have not been alive to
Yeah,
see a playoff round win.
yeah,
That that's unreal. Yeah, you want some pressure? How about you have, man, the city bleeds blue and white.
mm-hmm.
We're playing against the Habs. You were up 3 games to 1. You've blown a 3 game to 1 lead. You have game 7 at home, where home ice advantage means nothing in game 7.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're the better team, though.
Yeah,
So go be the better team.
I think that's it, man. They just need to go be the better team. I saw a statement from Sheldon Keefe earlier today. I'm gonna read a bit of it because I think it's just fantastic. I sent it to you earlier today. And I really hope this kind of is getting through to the whole team, right? And I quote, as much as it sucks how we got here and what we've been through the last couple of games, and we hate it, I really feel, frankly, that we are right where we're supposed to be. We're facing a Game 7 situation, a very difficult task at a time when the other team has momentum, at a time when you start to doubt and question yourself, and people on the outside doubt and question you. You've got an opportunity here in Game 7 to embrace that and meet it head on and push through it. I think it's an incredible opportunity for our team. I woke up this morning extremely excited for our group. Last night you feel like shit because of what you've been through. When you're right there in overtime, you can end the series and you don't get it done. But you wake up this morning and you think about the opportunity that our team has with everything that we've gone through, especially our core guys, to have this opportunity on this stage, to have this be the moment to push through it. I think it's an incredible opportunity. I'm very excited for our team to play tomorrow. End quote. Man, that's the attitude they need to go in with, I think.
They do. They do. And I mean, you've got the goalie that's on the ice that has played better
Mm-hmm.
all series. You have to realize that. You haven't lost because Carey Price has been better. Carey Price has been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But Jack Campbell has been even better.
Yep.
I get it. You can say all you want that the guy that lets in the least goals is the better goalie, but both goalies have been lights out. This team is in a good spot. I'm with you. If they can come over this hurdle, I think that could seriously catapult this team to being that contender that does steamroll.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Like, watch out, Jets, because if you get an angry Leaf team coming out of this series, I'm with you. Sheldon Keefe, like, this feels like it's where it's supposed to have gone, but when you're up 3 games to 1, just wanted to win.
Oh
Just
yeah.
wanted to win, man. Just wanted to win.
I say this to all my friends who are Toronto sports teams. They never go easy on us fans, ever. Man, I've been trying to think of a team that's been through this in Toronto in the last few years, and I think of the Jays team when they played Texas in the first round, and they were favored, and they lost. It was best of 5, and they lost the first 2 games, and then they came storming back, and everyone remembers the bat flip game, and that was electric, exciting. the city went nuts. And if they win Game 7 tomorrow, good God, this city, like the social distancing rules out the window, man. I will tell you, the Young Street will be flooded with idiots.
Sure it would, man. Like
Yeah,
it'll be a party.
yeah,
It just will be. I hope that it happens because I've got my girls staying up. We're gonna
yeah,
watch some hockey. It's
yeah.
game 7, Montreal, Toronto. If you're staying up to watch a hockey game, you're gonna be tired the next day. That's the one.
All right. Well, you know what? Since they are staying up, us move on from the Leaf game because we could talk about this for forever. Let's move on to some more fun stuff, and let's move on to some our series and things. How about that?
I'm in.
Okay. Do you have any? So your girls are staying up to watch. Do you have any other like playoff traditions that you like to follow?
I have to have a bag of licorice with the game. You
Oh,
know?
really? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. We bust out the licorice, and anytime that I forget the licorice, they come out really sluggish, and I feel bad. I actually feel bad, like I took part in it, like I made it happen, like I have anything to do with what the hell's happening. But that's my superstition, and and if I'm watching a game, let's say I have a habit of listening to a game on a radio, and then I'll turn it into the game on TV. I'll get the best of both worlds. I
Sure.
don't really like listening to Cuthbert. I just don't. I feel like he's a Montreal fan, where Joe Bowen's calling to me. He's calling to me,
Mm-hmm.
the Leaf fan, and I love listening to that. If I'm listening, and I listen to the first period one night, and then watch 2 periods on TV and they lose, I have to switch it up the next night. I have to listen to 2 periods on the on the radio, and then I'll watch the third period on TV, unless I've got like friends or if I go to a bar. But that's not happening right now, so that's my tradition at the moment.
That's pretty good, man. I usually wear a jersey for the game, and if they lose the game, then I wear a different jersey the next game, right? And I'll wear whatever one they won in the next game. But this year, because it was so hot in Southern Ontario, I was like, I can't wear a jersey. Like it's just way too freaking hot to watch these playoff games in. So I've just been wearing my T-shirts. Like I have a Toronto Maple Leaf T-shirt on right now. I'm gonna wear this one tomorrow. They won last time I wore this, so I'm hoping that that'll work. The other thing I like to do is I have this bottle of Wendell Clark whiskey, and I only crack it open when it's elimination nights for the Leafs. So it's a few years old, and it's going down pretty fast on those nights. And I either drink it because I'm really upset or really happy. Most of the time, it's because I'm really upset. I have yet to enjoy it when I'm really happy, and I want that to change tomorrow night and have a new tradition. Um, but yeah, other than that, I watched the game with my partner. She was right beside me last night. We were both like jumping for joy when Brody scored and saying lots of inappropriate language when Montreal scored. So that's how we like to do it. So just keep it fun and light, right?
Yeah, man, that's exactly it. I mean, I don't want to hear Cuthbert, calling it like somebody's just won the Grey Cup when Montreal scores.
I
You know,
know.
I mean, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Let's have him be disappointed that Montreal's out. I want to hear him call the Toronto Maple Leaf win.
That's it.
And you know what I'm going to do on this next game? You
What?
know what? And if it works, I'll carry it right through the whole playoffs. I promise you, I'm going to do it. I'm going to sync my Joe Bowen call, and I'm going to put it on the radio, play it over my speakers, and then I'm going to mute my TV, and I'm going to have it so that Joe Bowen's calling my game.
There you go. If you
It's
can get it
happening.
to work, then that's the way to do it. I know a lot of people that do that because they just love the way Bowen calls games. And back in the day when Bowen used to be on TV, it was fantastic. You know,
It just means that I'm on like a 20-second delay. Like, I mean, I just can't cheer with you at the
yeah,
exact same time. So I keep my phone flipped upside down.
yeah, that's true. But you can't help the buzz. Sometimes the buzz comes through and you're like, oh
it
shit.
oh, and then my stomach's in a knot because I know something's about to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Um, some other stuff, hockey related things I wanted to talk about. So the Tampa Bay Lightning are the defending Cup champions, and I don't know. Did you hear about what happened with some Florida fans in Tampa Bay during the first round?
I did, man, but I'll let you tell the story. It's
God,
pretty wild.
yeah, like they got escorted out of the building for wearing Panthers jerseys.
Yeah,
Like
man. Like
it's
this.
what kind of Mickey Mouse organization is doing that? Like I don't get it because you want in Florida, especially in Florida, you want fans to be lifelong fans. And these two teams, even though they're good right now, they were bad for a long time, man. And you don't want to discourage that rivalry at all. Like, I don't understand why they had this policy where opposing jerseys weren't allowed in premium or club seats.
I don't get it because one of my dreams is, and like honestly, one of my dreams is to go to a game in Montreal on a Saturday night, wear my Toronto Maple Leaf jersey.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of my dreams. And if I went there and got told to leave, that would just absolutely disgust me. I
Yeah,
mean, absolutely disgust me. And I don't know, man. That's like a such an insecure rule.
it is so weird. And the rule has been taken away now because of season ticket holders in that area, as well as the club lounge holders, asked them to do so. Like, like you said, yeah, what kind of idiocy is that? I've gone to Leaf games in Montreal, in Buffalo, in Detroit, and in Calgary. And I've worn my Leaf jersey, and it's so much fun when you see another Leaf fan in an opposing stadium. You're like, hey, yeah, I love this team and stuff, right? And you just kind of, it's a good time.
I've been to a lot of games, and I've been to a lot of games in Toronto, and I actually enjoy when I see a good-hearted opposing team's fan,
Hmm.
and I because I like to have fun. I'm at a game to have fun, and if I see they're having fun, then it's just good little banter, and
Hmm.
I'll
Hmm.
point out them when we score. Yeah, buddy, did you see that? You know what I mean? Like that's part of sport. Why can't you have that? Why
Yeah.
would you get kicked out? That's just ridiculous. And I'm
Yeah.
glad that the season ticket holder said, "Hey, what the hell?" Because you should. Oh,
Exactly. It's just, you know what, man? We were talking really seriously about this earlier. Um, it's for fun. Like, being a fan is for fun. It's distraction from your life. The Leafs win or lose tomorrow. I still have to get up and go to work the next day and pay my bills and all that stuff. Like, I just enjoy the distraction. I enjoy the ups a lot. I hate the downs, but you know what? I'm a fan for fun.
yeah, me too, man. They don't pay our bills.
No.
Like I get it. Life goes on, but I'll tell you, I really, really, really look forward to a game coming up, and
Yeah.
I want to look forward to some more games. Lots
You
more games.
You and me both. Well, keeping on the fans thing, we talked about how Montreal was allowed fans for the first time since March 2020. How do you feel about watching the games with the fans like just rammed into states, man? I think it's awesome. I've been enjoying watching these playoff games all over the states.
I like. Okay, come on, Winnipeg. Are you telling me right now that 15,000 fans crammed into that building, all wearing white, waving around their white towels in the whiteout?
Hmm.
That doesn't get to happen. Like I want to hear that. The crowd in New York for the Islanders, like, geez, come on, like those guys are loud.
Yeah,
Like
Boston
it's
was
awesome.
rocking the other day. Yeah,
Oh
it is
man,
awesome, and it's
the garden is intimidating, and
yeah,
I'm only saying that because it's absolutely destroyed my psyche.
for sure. Like, it's been a refreshing break from watching all the Canadian games that we've been watching this whole year to see fans in the stands. I think, and I think you can see it in the players too, man. Like, they have, they feed off that energy, and it's been pretty cool.
Oh, when Pasternak scored the goal from the left side of the net there, right
Yep.
around the dot. Like, do you see him celebrate? He celebrated with the fans.
Yeah.
Like, that's just as simple as that. It was right away. It was just right into it, just a full out. You know, yeah, you feel that. How don't you? That's what you live for. Can you imagine how jacked they must feel right now? They
Oh.
just played. They just played for a year and a half in front of nobody, which they haven't done since they were 10 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Well, speaking of other good news to come out for the Canadian division, so apparently a travel exemption is expected to be put in place for the semi-final round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, which I think is great news.
Have they talked to Ontario because they haven't even said that they would allow vaccinated health professionals to go to the hockey game?
Yeah, well, God, yeah, that's something. But this is for the federal government, man. This is saying
I know.
they're going to allow the whatever team that the Canadian team would be facing to fly in. So I think that's great, man. You got to give. It would suck so much if you're whatever team from Canada, if you had to relocate to Buffalo or Minnesota or wherever the hell like another team would go. It just makes the experience so much more better to be in the third round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and you're playing at home every now and then.
I think that it's extremely important because I mean it's pretty clear that no teams in the states are going to have to relocate from any of their cities. So
Hmm.
if the Canadian team had to go and play at another city, they literally don't get a single home game.
Yeah.
They get 7 road games, and the other team gets 4 home games.
Yeah.
Like I mean that's just not. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
No,
I mean, I'm happy about that, and I hope it's Toronto we get to watch for those, man.
that would
Holy smokes! I
that.
hope it's Toronto.
Oh, I hope it's Toronto too. Like one thing at a time, and they got to win tomorrow, and then we'll talk about what's going on from there. Well, speaking of the first round, man, let's go over some of the other first round matchups. Like we haven't done the show for a long time. So much has changed. Obviously, so many teams have been eliminated. Let's start with the Central Division, man. Carolina versus Nashville. Carolina ended up winning it in 6 games. Um, I think I picked Carolina to win. I know Nashville was your underdog. Do you have? Did you notice anything? Got you out of your seat for this series or anything like that?
No, man. I mean, I didn't actually get super into that series.
Yeah.
I mean, Carolina Nashville doesn't really tickle my fancy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sorry, Carolina fans. Sorry, Nashville fans. Carolina, you got a great team. Um, Nashville, I guess you're going into a rebuild.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, same thing. Man, I kind of watched the highlights of that game. I thought Jordan Stahl he got an OT winner. I think in Game 4, which was pretty cool to see, or was it Game 2, one or the other. But taking over the captain from his brother, which is neat. The other series in that division, the Battle of Florida, we were talking about it a little bit. Florida versus Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay won in 6 games. This series was awesome. I thought, man, I saw the first game. It blew me away with how good it was.
It was a great series. It really was. Two really great hockey teams. Tampa Bay showed how they won the Stanley Cup and
Mm-hmm.
are poised to try to defend that. You know, they look great. I paid attention to that a bit. I don't know about you. I just
Yep.
thought that was good hockey, and it's good. It's got players on the teams that I really enjoy watching.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and not to mention, we've got a hockey pool that we're doing. And
Yep.
anybody from our hockey pool, if you guys are watching this, um, I guess I could say, hey, yo, I got a bit of a lead, but you want to know something? I'm riding dying on the Islanders.
Uh-huh.
I mean, don't know. They're playing against Boston right now. That doesn't feel
Yep.
so good. So I guess I'll just enjoy the lead while I got it and hope for a Conn Smythe win because guys are all going to catch up to me and pass me.
Probably, yeah. Well, speaking of the Islanders, that they beat the Pittsburgh Penguins in 6 games. I couldn't believe that, man. I thought Pittsburgh was gonna like roll over them in 5.
The only reason why, I mean, I picked the Islanders. They were one of the teams that I picked in our
Mm-hmm.
in our bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm more betting on Trotz and Lou Lamoriello, man. Like when we talked about the Leafs and you were going through the years and the stages, and we just broke that record. Lou Lamoriello leaving the team was not a good time. We really lost progress there. But whatever, I'll stay on topic. Islanders, um, they were great. They
Yeah,
defense beat offense there, bud.
they definitely did. They shut them right down. Yeah, I tracked that series more than watched it. It just blew my mind, man, that New York was able to stymie Sid and Gino. Jeff Carter had an awesome series. I can't believe how good he was coming from. I think it was L.A. Like just ridiculous, and they still couldn't get through the Islanders, which is crazy.
Like I don't know. I loved watching at the score sheets because talking about that pool of ours, I'd look at the pool and I got to pick like a bunch of Islander top players because nobody was picking the Islanders,
No.
and and that's why I picked them because it was the only team nobody had touched. So I wanted a top line, and my God, it's pretty fun having a top line. But I mean, they're not getting through Boston. They're not getting through Boston.
Yeah, who knows, man? We've seen crazier things. Well, speaking of Boston, Boston won in 5. Washington won the first game of the series, and then Boston came back and won 4 in a row. I thought this was going to be going 7, and Boston just wouldn't have any of it, man.
I'm getting better at those segues, eh, buddy? I guess I
Yep.
blow it when I say stuff like that, though. I'm supposed to just be smooth and keep going with it. Whatever. Okay, back to it. So, I mean, Washington, Boston. I was really hoping Washington was going to knock them out. I picked
Hmm.
Washington. I was
So did
betting
I.
on a Stanley Cup win, and I just have to think that Boston's eventually going to have some sort of disappointment for their fan base, right?
Well, ask the Patriots, man. They've had finally a poor season in Boston this year, but you'd think, yeah, the Bruins, like they're due for one. I really thought Washington was going to bring more. They had they had a hell of a playoffs last year. They didn't take the bubble seriously, and it was well documented they didn't, and they said this year was going to be different. I think they won the division, or they came in second, and they just couldn't beat Boston, which is just too bad, man. And I thought that would have been 7, like I said, physical, fast, and it was just done so fast.
Yeah, man. Like, out Washington done, I guess. Hey, they're getting older, and they got the cup. Yep. Luckily before they pinnacled, bud.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's move on to the West Division. This series was done in a flash. Well, we should talk about some news that came out of this series because we didn't get to it. Colorado swept St. Louis in 4 games. St. Louis won the Stanley Cup 2 years ago, and they're going home after 4 games this year. We picked Colorado to win. I didn't think they win it in 4.
Say it. Talk about Kadri. Say it, Wes.
We are going to talk about Kadri. So officially, I can say the Toronto Maple Leafs won the Nazem Kadri trade.
Oh my God! Like, if anybody says ever again that we should not have traded Nazem Kadri, did you ever understand why Dubas had to trade Nazem Kadri? Mm-hmm. He got suspended in round 1 against Boston. Oh, hold on a second. The next year, he got suspended in round 1 against Boston. He couldn't have it happen again. And if it happened again, he would have looked like an absolute tool. Yep. So he traded him. And guess what? Dubas, you were right.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. And Kadri got an 8-game suspension. So in the second round, he won't be back until at least like game 7, I think, if I'm doing the math right. Because I think he got suspended in the second game. So yeah, it'd be game 7 is the first game he can come back to.
I was just going to say, this is the first time he returned. So now you actually get to see, does he learn his lesson or does he do it again? Can you imagine if he comes in as a bonehead again? Because that's 3 out of 4 years he's gotten suspended in round 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, I don't know. But yeah, Colorado. I guess back to Colorado. They're nuts, man. 4 games straight. They didn't even, there was never a doubt. As at the time of us starting this recording, they're up 2-0 at the end of the first against Vegas. Mm-hmm. And Vegas is no slouch. No. Colorado. I mean, we both picked them to win the cup.
Yeah.
And they're looking like the team to beat right now.
Yep. And it's crazy too. Like you talk about Vegas, and Vegas is such a good team. They just were a point behind Colorado and lost the President's Trophy because of them. They barely got by Minnesota in the first round. I was tracking that series pretty well because of our pool. Man, Vegas. So Vegas was in the same position as the Leafs, up 3-1. And they let Minnesota come back, and then they came back and crushed Minnesota in the 7th game. I think it was 6-2 the final score.
Yeah, man, it was. Mm-hmm. And I hope we see that tomorrow night.
That's what I hope too.
But sorry to keep going there. Sorry. But Colorado's just a juggernaut. Mm-hmm. They're nuts. And Vegas, let's talk about Vegas. You just said it. You just did. Well, I'm so distracted by the Leafs.
Yeah, and Vegas is so good, and I hope they watched Vegas and they learned their lesson, or they're going to be able to do what they did.
Oh, I know. I hope so too, because Marc-Andre Fleury, he is like Mr. Playoffs, isn't he? Like if you were to have a poster guy for the NHL playoffs, you have to have him on it. You just do.
Yeah.
Like what he has done in the playoffs for various teams. He's a stud in the playoffs, and if they're gonna have any chance on getting past Colorado, he's gonna have to stand on his head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we'll see, because I think Colorado is gonna win that series, and I think Vegas can stretch it out to 6 games. I don't think Vegas can win that series.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to do this. I see later in the show we're supposed to be doing this, but I guess we're kind of morphing it a little bit.
It's fine.
We flow. Just go with the flow.
Exactly. Well, let's move into the North Division, man. Another sweep I didn't see coming. People saw the sweep going the other way. I picked Winnipeg to win the series. I picked Winnipeg to win it in 7. They won it in 4. Like, how bad of a series is that for Edmonton?
Yeah, I guess some teams aren't built for the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
I guess. Because Edmonton did not look built for the playoffs, and Winnipeg does. Winnipeg looks like a team that's built for the playoffs. You've said time and time again, I know you picked Edmonton to win, but I know all year you've said, and when we did the show that said, what team do you not want to meet in the playoffs? You said Winnipeg.
I said
and
Winnipeg.
They're waiting. They're waiting for the winner of our game.
I picked Winnipeg to make it in the second round. You know, they are a hell of a team. They were able to come together. Connor Hellebuck is the best goalie in Canada, I think. And if the Leafs win tomorrow, they go from Carey Price to Connor Hellebuck. Like, Jesus, that is not
You
an
know
easy
what?
path.
It's not, but I'll tell you what, I love who we're loaded up with too.
Mm-hmm.
I do. And we have a top line that is waiting to bust out.
Yeah.
They are. I can't help it. They're
Well,
gonna.
going back to Edmonton too, it's crazy because people were going on about Connor McDavid saying that he didn't show up. I think he got 5 points in 4 games. Yeah, this loss isn't on him. Um, and in Game 3 when Edmonton was up 4-1 with in the third period, and then they blew that lead, I saw some cheeky Leaf Twitter fans being like, "Hey, anyone else know a team that blew a 4-1 lead in the playoffs and stuff?" It was a massacre on Twitter for Edmonton that day.
That would have been a tough one for the team. And
Oh,
Wes, I have to say, you've had a tough job tonight. You've had to have like a leash on me to keep me in line and on task on what we're actually talking about. Good job, by the way. But McDavid, um, this is a lot of years that this guy's been in the league now
yeah,
and has been the best player in the league and has firepower galore. Um,
yep,
wow, like this team's got to do something different too.
mm-hmm,
They've got to do something very different and maybe actually go out and get themselves a top-notch goaltender.
mm-hmm,
They've got a lot of boxes. Like where Dangle was talking about how what would you change, and there's not really a lot that you need to change in Leafland.
mm-hmm.
Edmonton has a lot of boxes that they could check
Yeah,
off.
yeah, absolutely right. Edmonton, I think they have a lot of cap space opening up this year, but it's all about what you do with it, right? Like, why would you bring back the same cast of characters, right? Because they clearly couldn't do it. Um, but but it's crazy to think too. Like, we tracked Edmonton all year. Next year they're in the West again. Like, who cares? We're gonna see them twice next year, and it'll just be like, oh, nice to see Connor McDavid. Like, it's gonna
Yeah,
be so weird.
it will be. I guess I won't really know how it feels until it happens.
Hmm.
But you're right. The only thing that I like is that now I have a bit of familiarity with some Western teams,
Yeah, that's
which
true.
makes it so that more hockey's relevant to me. I just will follow it a little bit just to see, oh, how are they doing? Like, how did they adapt back in?
Hmm.
Like, yeah, yeah. You're right. It won't matter though. Like as far as Toronto Maple Leafs, it won't matter. Connor
No,
McDavid, go ahead, light the lamp every night. It really doesn't matter.
no. And I do want to touch on the Toronto Montreal series being 3-3. Man, this series we were all looking forward to it. 10 minutes in, Tavares gets out of it. I don't know about you, but as soon as Tavares was down, I thought the Leafs were losing that game. And like, it's a shame to me that they had to play that game because like you have to finish it, but it threw the Leafs off so much that they lost their captain, they lost their second line center. It was an awful accident. I'm not blaming Perry. I didn't think he needed to be suspended or anything like that. But man, like, just, they were gonna lose that game and they lost that game. I thought they played a good game. Um, it just to me, it was just too bad that it happened.
It was too bad that it happened. The whole sequence was like that was hard. I was listening to it on the radio, so I mean,
Mm-hmm.
to me, listening to Bowen and I had no visual. Bowen and Ralph, like it was bad. And then I saw the replay of it. My God, like it was sickening to the stomach. And to be on the bench and have to try to play through that and to keep focus, like my God, to get a text in an intermission that he's okay. Like I mean, like it was that bad.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to know this, like they needed to know this. Um, no, man, there were bigger things that were happening that night than hockey. And I mean, it's a playoff game of Toronto Montreal. Normally, you say, well, how it doesn't get any bigger than this. That
Mm-hmm.
was bigger than this. And I'm with you. That was a tough one to take. That was a really tough one to take.
Yeah. Yeah, and if the Leafs do lose this series, it'll be something to look back on because each game matters clearly, right? And that game matters as much as Game 7. And the Leafs didn't have it that night. They were not crisp. Like, they're human beings when something like that happens, and you can't blame them for losing. But if they lose this series in 7 games, everyone's going to blame them for losing 4 games against Montreal, and that's one of the 4. And I think that's something that we're going to have to really remember when we look back on this.
It is one of the 4. It is one of the 4. I know. I get it. Dude, it's been a tough series. There's
Yeah.
been ups and downs, but um, my God, 3 games apiece. If anything's come out of this that I've really enjoyed, though, I've really enjoyed seeing that we've got a number one goaltender in Jack
Hmm.
Campbell.
Hmm.
Man, I would enter like he's got the net,
Yeah.
and it's all summer. I get it. I'm not trying to be big. Like he is doing great, and it's for a pretty decent sample size now.
Hmm.
Let's keep it going. Um, and I like seeing how Anderson seems like he's got a good camaraderie on that bench. Like oh,
Well, man, let's keep it going a little bit. So we already talked about the second round a bit. We talked about Carolina versus Tampa. Tampa's already up 1 game. Um, I think Tampa's going to win that series.
I think Tampa Bay is going to steamroll them, and I
Yeah.
think that one might give them a little. They might not have. I don't know. They might have a lot of short rounds in the second round over there. But anyway,
It,
Tampa Bay and Carolina,
yeah.
4 or 5 games, man. I don't see Carolina doing well, even though they finished first in that division.
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
can we not forget that for a second?
Yeah. But there was no Kucherov in Tampa at the time.
Or Stamkos. There's
Or
no. I'm sitting $20 million over a salary cap if there was one in playoffs.
yeah, exactly.
I'm a
And
Leaf
then
fan though. I guess I can't say much.
true. In the East too, we got Boston versus the Islanders. I think Boston's going to wrap that up in 6 games.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to say that defense wins, but you know what? Not much seems to win against Boston. That
Hmm.
top line, the perfection line, um, they've burned me for so long, and they've burned a lot of other teams. They make deep playoff runs every year. This one's another one, man. This one's another one.
Yeah. All right, then we move on to the West. We talked about this one a lot already. Colorado, Vegas, and we both have Colorado going to the Cup, so we both have Colorado winning this series.
I do. I've got it in 6 games. I
Yeah.
don't know what I said before, but I feel 6 right now. I probably said something different before,
I
but right
I've
now my guts is 6.
You said 7 and I said 7 back in our
So
playoff preview, so it's not like you're way off. Then the North Division though, man, I'm gonna flip flop here. I got if Toronto makes it, I think Toronto will beat Winnipeg. If Montreal makes it through, I think Winnipeg beats Montreal.
well, you know what? I think that if Toronto gets through, Toronto's going to beat Winnipeg too. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that if Montreal gets through, I think the Carey Price is just going to hit another friggin' level, and they're going to keep going just to torment me as a Leaf fan.
Yeah, I think it would be almost embarrassing. I think Winnipeg would come out and beat them in 5 games the way the Leafs should have, and it would just look that much worse on the Leafs.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's another way to look at it. Do you see? Do you see how we think? This is how we've been treated. Like
Yep.
the being a Leaf fan has been the biggest character building
It's
experience of my life.
Yeah, that's a way to put it. Let's move on to this day in hockey history, man. So we are gonna run out of games to talk about coming up soon. 2018, the Washington Capitals win a Stanley Cup final game for the first time since entering the NHL in 1974. They hold on to defeat the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2 in Game 2 at the T-Mobile Arena. The Capitals trailed 1-0 before goals by Lars Eller, Ovechkin, and Brooks Orpik. Put them ahead 3-1. They end up winning the game 3-2. Um, they end up winning the best of 7 series and got Washington their first Stanley Cup. And you know what, man? I was so happy when we saw Ovechkin lift that cup. I was so happy for him. He looked jacked to win that.
It was the biggest party that I think that Stanley Cup has seen.
I
Like
would say, yeah, in 20 years for sure.
possibly.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. In a long time, like that guy, phew, that was nonstop. That was nonstop. It was great. That is a good one, man. And Vegas going there, like that just irks me every time I
Yeah.
hear it.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
time I hear it, and that's me being jealous. I am. I get it. But I'll tell you, you want to know how Vegas was built? Vegas had 4 really good second lines.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There was no full star-studded lineup to go as a power outage, so that all of a sudden the rest of your team, where the hell are you going to get the rest of your output from? They had
Yep.
4 solid second lines. They were so deep.
If you even look at Vegas right now, man, they don't have a superstar center. They just have good players, and they all play very, very well. They got Petrangelo on defense. They have Mark Stone, but when it comes to center, they are pretty weak, and I think that's why Colorado is going to end up getting by them. But I'm with you, man. When Vegas got to the finals that first year, I was pulling out the little hair I have left because I just couldn't believe it, man. And it was just like the NHL just wanted to shove every Canadian, like Toronto Maple Leaf, like any Canadian NHL fan, right in it and be like, you can't have this, we can, and it was crazy. I think we only have one last thing to cover, man. Tomorrow night, the for all of it, Game 7, Canadiens and the Leafs. Who do you have, and what do you think the final score is going to be?
Who I got? Who do I got? I'll tell you who I got, Wes. I've got my hands stuck in my hair. I got the Toronto Maple Leafs winning this game, and I think that they're going to win the game 4-1. I can't handle it being a nail biter. I can't handle it going into overtime, because if it happens, do you see how I am right now? The game hasn't started. Hasn't started. It's tomorrow. Leafs are winning this game, bud.
I am right there with you, man. I have the Leafs winning this. I have it as a laugher. It's going to be 5-1 Toronto Maple Leafs. I am going to call my shot, Austin Matthews hat trick, because he is going to pull this team into the second round. Man on a mission. He is just going to do it, and we're going to see the Winnipeg Jets on Wednesday night. And we're going to have that to talk about on our next show.
I love it. I love it. Okay? Because Austin Matthews. How about Jason Spezza with the hat trick?
That would be
nobody's getting a hat trick. But I would love to see Matthews with a hat trick. I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Yeah, I do too, man. And if that actually happens and I didn't bet on it, I am gonna lose my mind, man. Anyway, I think that wraps it up for today. We could go on about how important this game is for a long, long time, but I think we got everything said that we wanted to say.
I think you get the point, Leaf Nation. It's a pretty important night tomorrow night. If we want to see this core have a chance at making a run for the cup, they need to win tomorrow night. And I don't mean because there's always next year. We need to win tomorrow night. Go Leafs, go. If you like it, click subscribe, share the video. Wes, take us home, buddy.
Everything Scott said, go Leafs, go.
Go Leafs, go.